guys! Okay, so I stayed up way too late last night finishing Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. I finished it. I stayed up till about 1 a.m., but I did finish it all in one go, and it was so good, honestly. I'm astounded. I haven't felt this satisfied a feeling after finishing a book since, the Last Trials of Apollo book. Like, yes, I enjoyed reading, the... I don't know. I really enjoyed reading A Clash of Kings. But I don't know if it left me feeling as satisfied as this. Maybe because that isn't a conclusion. And as much as I enjoyed, The Upside Down of Unrequited Love or Love Creekwood, they didn't really leave me feeling as satisfied. This, I was just I'm content. This is one of the best books I've ever read. Top 5 easy, I think. I'm counting my favorite book of all time, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, in this. This was amazing. It was so good. I can't. I just can't. And I know everyone is always saying it's so good, but I was like, is it really? But it is. This is amazing. This is the best conclusion I've ever read to a trilogy. But I'm just scanning my brain for all trilogies that I've read. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's the best one. It was just, it's everything. Though I still just want a book about Henry and Charlotte. Can we have that, please? About them. Anyway. So, let's get into it. Good, guys. Recommend this trilogy. Okay. I can't stop smiling. Yes. So... Yeah. And this is the longest one I've read yet. This was 568 pages, and I read it in one day. I couldn't stop. I had to keep going. Okay. So, Alois Starkweather seemed to have genuinely loved his granddaughter, Adele, but something went horribly wrong with her rune ceremony. We saw Will's first meeting with Jem, and that was fascinating. It was such an interesting thing, because what was going through Will's mind at the time, and it was so interesting. Okay. And then, in the first chapter, a lot happened. Tessa had a fitting for her wedding dress, and then with Cicely and Will interacting, because Cicely arrives in the last book. Spoilers. Okay, I'll be putting that in the title, okay? And this is a book talk. If you don't know there's gonna be spoilers, I can't help you. Okay, Cicely and Will interacting. I hope it improves, because it was a bit... stagnant. The stiffness between Sophie and Gideon on Sophie's part, because Sophie's he lives in the Institute now, and he can't be with a mundane, and I'm a mundane, and you're just he loves you, darling. He doesn't care about all that. But, Gabriel arrived, and because his father has turned into a freaking demon, because that is the final stage of demon pox. They turn into a demon, so he turned into a 10-foot worm or something. Might have been a bit closer to 12 foot or 14 foot, I don't know, it was big. And then there was a letter to the consul Wayland about appointing Charlotte to the position of consul when he retires, and I was yes! And then that worm put up one heck of a vicious fight, and Celia's bam! Cecily, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Basically, she climbed up a tree and then jumped onto its back and started stabbing. And I was just damn, girl, you've had 2 months of training? Whew. Tatiana, that is Gabriel and Gideon's sister, is useless, and her husband is dead, so... Her father technically ate his son-in-law, and she was just she just kept collapsing on the ground and was just useless. The messages Benedict left behind are ominous. It was the infernal devices are without pity. The infernal devices are without something. The infernal devices will not stop coming. Yeah. Pretty sure Cecilia and Gabriel are going to be a thing. There was a thing when he was helping her off the ground after she leapt off the back of the worm after stabbing it, and it was just like, I think I spy in your ship. And then Jem had an episode and is being treated because Jem is still very, very sick. Gabriel is here to stay, y'all. He's staying at the Institute now, and Charlotte, she just wants to mother everyone, doesn't she? Tessa shares truths about Will with Cicely. So she explains that Will has had years of pushing away those he loves, and those are hard habits to break. You've just got to keep trying to get through to him. Consul Wayland does not support Charlotte replacing him, citing gender as a reason. The F, bro, I liked you. By the end of this book, I hate him. Sophie and Gideon get together, and it's so cute. I love them. Go, Cicely, confront your brother. Because basically, Will goes, okay, we find out Jem's been taking more than the usual amount of Yin-Fen, because he wants to truly live while he's getting married to Tessa. And so Will goes tearing off to go and buy more, and Cicely insists on coming with him, and then they actually, I think they talk a little bit. Also, I forgot to mention it, earlier on when they're about to go to kill the demon, Benedict. Tessa's in a wedding dress, and they're like, look, you can't come just like that. He's like, wait, you think, you think I can't come with you because I'm a woman? He's like, no, I think you can't come because you're in a wedding dress. To be fair, I don't think Will could kill a demon in a wedding dress. He's like, perhaps not, but I would be a radiant bride. I've seen that everywhere, and I had no context for it. Now I do, and I'm like, it's 10 times funny. Yeah. Charlotte and Henry are fabulous and adorable always. There's no more Yin-Fen? No, Jem has to live. Stupid Mortimain has bought all the Yin-Fen. All of it. The council is fully behind Charlotte as consul. There's something different in this book to the other two. There's letters being constantly sent around that we read. And so the council is trying to convince Consul Wayland that, no, we want Charlotte to be the next consul. What are you doing? And he's like, nah, put my nephew on. And they're like, your nephew is an idiot. And he's untrained. We're not putting him on. And it's like, and then he gets really huffy and he's like, the council has to listen to the consul. And I'm like, my theory at the time was that Consul Wayland was possessed. I just think he was an arrogant prick. Magnus is helping, yay! Because they go and find Magnus since they can't get Yin-Fen to see if he can sort something. So Magnus is now going to be at the Institute and everything is fabulous. Will has Izzy's necklace. Magnus gave the necklace, and so I was like, does he give it to his sister? Because I'm pretty sure she's going to get together with Gabriel. And that's how it becomes a Lightwood family heirloom. I no longer like Wolsey Scott. Like, legitimately, no longer like him. He's... I don't know how to describe him. But he's a bit of a dick. Consul Wayland has lost it. He wants a dictatorship. He really does. The Lightwood boys shall feed him false information. Good on you, mates. Because basically Consul Wayland wants the Lightwood boys to spy on Charlotte and feed him information. Poor Sophie. Can't remember where I was going for Sophie over there, but I'm sure I had good reason. Mortimain has made a play for Tessa. It failed rather spectacularly, so he sent a letter with some Yin-Fen in it and was like, hey, you give me Tessa, I'll give you Yin-Fen. And Tessa was all willing to go and do that because, you know, it's Tessa. And Jem wasn't having it, so he threw it in the fire. He possibly shouldn't have thrown the Yin-Fen in the fire too, but he did. Will and Gabriel need to sort out their issues because like they get into an argument, and Will's like, "Stay away from my sister," and I'm like, "Bro, your sister can handle herself." And it's yeah. Cicely is becoming more like a shadow hunter. Like she spends so much time training, and she's like realized that she really, really enjoys it. And after like being in an actual fight against the worm, she realizes how much she likes the idea of doing this. Because before, when she arrived, her goal was to get her brother to come home. She thought all shadow hunters were like evil and they'd taken her brother away. And then she realizes, okay, that isn't true. And then it's just like, send a letter, send a letter, send a letter. And then now she's realized shadow hunters are actually quite lovely people and she wouldn't mind being one. Sophie's gonna help the Lightwood boys trick Consul Wayland. Jem and Tess have decided to get married tomorrow. Jessamine is back, but so are the Clockwork. So basically, Jessamine was coming back to the Institute after her time in the Silent City, and then another carriage rocks up, and it's full of Clockworks, and it's a huge battle, and no one's really prepared because they were just expecting to greet Jessamine, and the Silent Brother dies as well. And it's just a massive fight, and yeah. And Tessa was taken by Mrs. Dark, who is now a cyborg. Yeah, Tessa was taken. Jen collapsed, and Jessamine is dead. She died. This is a catastrophe. Okay, this is a complete catastrophe. And now Jem is dying. They think they know where Mortimain is because Jessie told them something, and Cicely overheard, and she's like, "Will, you are the stupidest Welshman, okay? Idris, Cardiff, Idris. That's a place in Wales." He's like, "Oh. Didn't mean Idris the country, it meant a place in Wales, you Nimrod." Beginning to hate Consul Wayland. Magnus is here, y'all. He's here. Jem just found out that Will is in love with Tessa. And instead of like getting all jealous or anything like that, he's just like, go and save Tessa. Just go. Do it for me. You're my parabatai and we both love her. Go and save her. And just like, and Will's like, no, I should be here with you. You're my parabatai. And he's like, if you love me and if you love Tessa, you will go after. It's like, everything hurts. Yeah, so Will goes to find Tessa. Mrs. Dark is a cyborg and not a good one. And Tessa's like, no, if the boys can't save me, I will save myself. Sophie should ascend. Yes, this is agreement. I mean, she should ascend into being a shadow hunter. Yeah, she'd be fabulous. Charlotte is frantic. Fair enough. Because basically, all the kids in the Institute she sees as like her children, and one of them is dying, another has been taken, and another one's gone charging off after the one that's been taken. Okay, she really loves these kids. Gabriel and Cicely make for a fun dynamic because they have to go and get ingredients for Magnus, and that was a very interesting read. Henry and Magnus bro OTP. Okay, page 280 to 283. Okay, that was just so awesome. Just wait a second. Sorry, everything's fine. People are just being loud downstairs. I just was checking there wasn't something wrong. Okay, anyway, they are just so awesome, okay? And it's like he comes, and so Magnus is like looking around, utterly fascinated by all of the inventions Henry's doing. Henry finally is someone who not only likes his inventions, but actually understands them and can actively help. And Magnus is like, I used to think you Nephilim had no imagination, but I was wrong. This is marvelous. And then when he sees the portal, he's like, Henry, you're a genius. And I'm like, finally someone acknowledges it. Other than other than his wife. Of course, she acknowledges it. And then Jim is dying. No, he can't. That's why I was crying. I was like, no, I thought something else was gonna happen. No, you can't die. Then also Tessa's angel necklace saved her. It was really weird. Like she broke out of the carriage to escape and flee, and she's like falling and thinks she's gonna die, and the angel like expands and saves her, and you're like, what is going on with that necklace? And then Gabriel and Cicely grow closer. Jim is dead. He's dead. Okay. Will has the Parabatai rune, obviously, and he felt it, and he went silver, which means Jim was dead, and I was crying because I was just like, no, he can't be dead. No. So Will is obviously in a pit of despair, and it takes a little bit to get out of it, including getting attacked by werewolves. Gabriel is a foolish child because he was going to write to Wayland Consul, because Consul Wayland basically came round and said that we're not doing anything to go after Tessa earlier, and then forced Gabriel into continuing writing the letters but telling the truth this time. And Gabriel decides he's going to do it, and then Alois Starkweather arrives, and he's worked out, like, by, unfortunately torturing some fairies, but he's worked out that Tessa is his granddaughter, and he's so sorry for everything he's done, and he says, if I never see her again, tell her she's welcome to the name Starkweather. And I'm like, and honestly, Hodge, your ancestors would be ashamed of you, because you were all that was left of the Starkweather line. I think. Pretty confident. Oh, Tessa. She gets caught. I think. Is that what I'm going to? No, this was after she had been recaptured after she escaped, and Mortimain had tricked her into transforming into his father by making it seem like he just wanted to say goodbye. Instead, his father gave him the final key to getting his Clockwork army to be as dangerous as possible. I give up on Shadowhunter politics. I give up. Okay, Gabriel is wonderful and deserves every happiness for Cicely, because it turns out he didn't send a letter, and when everyone's beginning to despair, he's like, no, we don't do this. Charlotte, just send letters to the Enclave. Don't get permission from the council. I was wrong. My father was wrong. You are an amazing head of the Institute, okay? Don't listen to anyone else. And I'm like, yes, boy, yes. And then so Charlotte decides, rather than just sending letters to the Enclave, she's going to send it to the whole clave. So all Shadowhunters. And then Gideon and Sophie get engaged, and it's rather dramatic, and Gideon reveals that Sophie wants to ascend into being a Shadowhunter, and then Charlotte's like, oh, I wish you told me before, we could have sorted this out before, of course I want you to be a Shadowhunter. And now to war! They're gonna go through the portal. We need Henry's explodey thingies. There are demon souls in the automatons. So that was the big plan, was to put demon souls into the automatons, and then the Serif blades won't work on them. So we need the explodey thing we saw in the Clockwork Prince book, but I don't know if he's been working on that. Ethereal is in the house, y'all. He's in the angel necklace. That poor Ethereal, he's been trapped twice. Poor baby, can't catch a break. Consul Wayland with a cactus in his ass and his throat and every other orifice. Because basically he decides to call a council meeting, though even people who would have wanted to come and help can't. And the Inquisitor is furious with him, and he's like, look, if you don't speak the truth, I will. I'm done with you. And, yeah. Just F him with a cactus. And go Inquisitor Victor. Also, Mortimain is a complete psychopath. He slaughters an entire village just as a demonstration of his Clockwork army. That village did nothing, bro. That village had nothing to do with the Shadowhunters. Will found Tessa in the place, and they had sex. And, other than a mark being left by the Clockwork Angel and Will, that's about all that happened in that chapter. Oh, and she found out that Jem's dead. But, everything is going to pot. The council was attacked by Clockworks, at least Wayland's dead. So is Starkweather. I'm not sure if I'm sad about that or not. Because he did a lot of horrible things. But, yeah. They got attacked, so they definitely won't be sending reinforcements. And then, like, the others have arrived, and Magnus... Magnus is the one to find Will and Tessa. And, some Silent Brothers turned up. 3 Silent Brothers turned up to help. And it was like, but you don't normally say yes, but in this case, we feel that we must. And it's like, yes! Because they don't have to go to council meetings, which means they can arrive to give back up. Yeah! And, so they all arrive, and there's a massive battle going on with the Clockworks, and Will and Tessa burst in, and it's like, don't use the Seraph Blades, they won't work! So they're having to fight with regular swords, and Henry gets attacked, and Charlotte gets attacked, and Henry's kind of, like, unconscious, and Charlotte's, like, over him, and then Bridget's there being a bamf. Like, honestly, is she not a Shadowhunter? Because, like, I swear nothing can take down that woman. And she's got... just protecting them. And then so Cicely's there and doing her best, and then we realize one of the Silent Brothers is Jem. Jem isn't dead, he's a Silent Brother! I knew it! But it was, and then Magnus, like, runs over, it's like, Cicely has gone over to, Henry and Charlotte, and she's like, we've got to flee, we've got to get back up and regroup. It's like, we can't leave Henry. It's like, they think he's dead. And he's like, no, I can feel a pulse. And then Magnus comes over and he's like, and he actually, like, he looks so sad because he loves Henry. He's like, he was a good man. And it's like, he's alive, you idiots. And then he checks and he's like, oh, he is. Okay. Forms a shield spell and heals Henry to the best of his abilities, but Henry can't feel his legs. And he's like, I'm sorry, there are some things magic can't heal. And, so everything's in chaos. And then it's like, just when you think, like, everything's going to pot, one of the automatons grabs Tessa and is taking her to Mordain, and then she turns into a freaking angel. She changes into ethereal. And it's just like, what the heck? And she squashes him like the buggy is. Well, ethereal does. I got a bit confused. But essentially, and all the Clockworks are destroyed with their master dead. Yeah. And essentially, when Tessa shapeshifted into ethereal, she set him free from the Clockwork device, which is lovely. But in the next chapter, Tessa is unconscious and needs Jem. She won't wake up until she sees Jem. Henry won't ever walk again, but he's already making plans to make, like, the best wheelchair ever, so wouldn't be surprised if it flies. Charlotte to be consul? Yes! It's like, it's official, she's going to be consul because Wayland is dead and can't put his foot in it. And I keep forgetting she's pregnant. This whole time she's been pregnant. I keep forgetting that. Cicely and Gabriel are together. Like, official, they kissed, and it's cute. And Sophie ascends, and that was beautiful. And Jem finally comes to the Institute, and he speaks to Tessa, and the goodbye was beautiful, and they promised to always meet on that bridge. But then when he said goodbye to Will, I was so heartbroken. I was crying. I was like, no, it can't end this way. I know you're a Silent Brother, but you can still visit. Please don't. No. Please. And Will's just like, I don't know how to be who I am without you. In other news, Jasmine is a ghost that will now haunt the Institute, and she seems better off, to be honest. She seems happier. Okay, this is just a quick addendum to my Clockwork princess video. Jessamine died, and I believe I talked about that, but she came back towards the end, and we find out she's now a ghost, and she's gonna haunt the London Institute, and she has this lovely moment with Will, where she prompts him to, like, I've been watching you for a while, and it's been like 6 months since everything happened. Why haven't you made a move on Tessa? Make a move, come on. Make one! And then, yeah, so that's what prompts Will to make a move on Tessa, and they share a lovely kiss in the snow. And I'm just like, I think you're gonna do better as a ghost, Jessamine. I think you're gonna do better as a ghost. And I know she does, but that's for the other video. Okay. Tessa and Will are now engaged. Like, they got the closure they needed with Jem, so they were able to get engaged. It took a little longer, but, like, it was a couple of months in between that, but it did happen. Yay. And then they're going to meet the parents. So Gabriel and Tessa come with Cicely and Will to see their parents in Wales, and I was just like, it was cute. It was a very cute scene. Magnus is off to New York, and he's taking Church with him, and something I forgot to mention that I found so cute in Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess was Jem's interactions with Church. They were so cute. Also, Will turned down a special sword. There's some sort of special sword, and Will turned it down. And Tessa's, because Jem's uncle was going to give it to him because he was Jem's parabatai. And Tessa suggested and said, we can't take that because to us, Jem isn't gone. But have you ever thought about having kids and giving it to your descendants? I'm assuming he does. Because I've heard the name Emma Carstairs around, so I'm like, I knew Jem was Brother Zachariah. I knew it. Brother Zachariah was caring too much about the Herondales. Plus, I read the Bane Chronicles, and I'm pretty sure it says it in that somewhere, but it's been a hot minute. Also, Charles Buford Fairchild. Red hair. Clary. I called it. And just good on Charlotte for making sure the child's first name wasn't Buford. A truly beautiful epilogue. Like, everyone's happy and has kids, and it was so beautiful. It's perfect. And Tessa gets both the boys because, okay, something is going to happen in City of Heavenly Fire, and I can't wait to read that. But basically, so she marries Will. They have a bunch of kids. They have grandkids. It's all good. And I'm wondering, if they had this many kids, how do we have one Herondale by the time we get to City of Heavenly Fire? What did your descendants do? Because you did the good job of having lots of offspring. Anyway, not my point. And Will dies, and after that she leaves because she can't outlive her children. It would break her heart, which is fair enough. And yeah, so she meets Jem, and Jem is looking like a regular human. Like, not like a not like a regular human, but looking like a regular Shadowhunter, not like a silent brother. And she's like, Jem, you're cured? How did this happen? And he's like, oh, it's a long story involving another Fairchild, Herondale and Lightwood. And I'm like, oh snap, it happened in the City of Heavenly Fire. And he's like, but do you still love me? And she's like, I do. And so they're gonna get married now and have kids, and I'm sure Will is cheering them on from heaven and going, yeah. Honestly, I don't know how she did it, but that love triangle ended beautifully. And I'm so excited to read City of Heavenly Fire now, if only for that, and hopefully the fixing of Malik. Hopefully Alec will be less of a dumbass in that one. But yes, okay, Clockwork series, read it, love it, never leave it, okay? It is so good. No one is exaggerating when they tell you how good this is, okay? This is amazing. This is brilliant. This is one of the best trilogies I've ever read. And I'm gonna have to give it a reread because I will admit, when I was getting later on in the night, I was skimming a bit over the Will and Tessa parts because I was too worried about everyone else. So I will go back and reread those scenes at some point. But right now I want to read City of Heavenly Fire really badly. And yeah, so if you've read this trilogy, can you let me know what you thought? Did you love it too? And if you didn't, why? Because literally I can think of no reason. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was... if at this point you're not used to me being nonsensical with these, I can't help you. My previous video will be down here somewhere. And I really just... yeah, if you like it, comment, maybe even subscribe, and I will see you in the City of Heavenly Fire book talk. Bye, guys!